So, hello. This is part 2 of my horror zodiac series. In part 1 I drew Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius and Capricorn, so I don't want any comments asking me where they are. You don't need to watch part 1 to understand this video, but check it out, I liked it. Anyways, the concept is simple. I'm gonna draw a character designs inspired by the zodiac sign, but with a more horror element to them. Because it's just horror and zodiac signs are cool, I guess. So I'm gonna draw 4 more signs for this video. Anyways, let's just get into it. So the first sign I'm doing for this video is Aquarius. Aquarius is a sign for people born between the 21st of January and the 18th of February. It is an air sign, and people who are Aquarius describe as being creative, innovative and independent. Could also find a lot of things around Aquarius that says they're very empathetic and humanitarian. So that's cool. It's actually my sister's sign and one of my good friends, so that's fun. Anyways, so I had to think of a horror trope that could fit Aquarius, which was very hard because I had like actually no ideas for it. So I looked around the place to see if I could find any inspiration, like looking through horror tropes, looking through how Aquarius is described, the symbolism around Aquarius, etc, etc, etc. And then one of the websites I found that Aquarius really likes sci-fi. I don't know how accurate that is. You tell me if you're an Aquarius and if you like sci-fi. But it gave me ideas. So I thought maybe like an extraterrestrial horror, because I hadn't really done that with any of the characters yet. But I couldn't come up with a good idea for it to like match with Aquarius, so I scratched that. And then I thought about Frankenstein, because that's technically a sci-fi story. You could argue it's their first sci-fi story ever. So that's how the idea of like an evil scientist came to mind. But I kind of thought that's not really horror related. And I thought an evil doctor, that's where we at, and that's how I came up with the idea, like an evil killer doctor. I also feel like a doctor fits a lot with what I could find around Aquarius, but this one is a bit more evil and murderous. Also, similarly to Libra from last video, I wanted to do a character that was more grounded horror genre, like a more realistic horror. Like, you're not gonna meet a ghost anytime soon. But an evil doctor, that's more realistic, because there exists a lot of evil doctors. One of the only serial killers I know about from my country was an evil doctor who murdered his patients, so that's not cool. He's actually out and about free now, so with a new identity, so I don't know what he's doing. Hopefully he is never allowed to be a doctor again. Anyways, I feel like a killer doctor is like a very scary concept, because you have some sort of trust to your doctors. You should have some trust to your doctor. Like, you put a lot of trust in them. You want them to make you healthy and all that. So I feel like a killer doctor is a very scary concept. And for this one, I made it very obvious that they're evil, though, like with blood all over them and like a bucket with a human hand inside of them. I also like had to do something where they were like holding some sort of vase or bucket or something with water or liquid, so that's where the bucket come from. I liked it. I also had an idea to have the character's mask be not properly put on, like you can like below their nose, but then I kind of thought that would look more silly than actually scary. Like, the joke was gonna be like, the scariest thing of them all is the malpractice, but I scratched that. I think that him having some of his hair outside the bonnet is more effective to get that idea across. So yeah, and also makes him look more unhinged, I would argue. So you know what, I'm fine with that. The second sign I'm doing for this video is Pisces. So Pisces is the sign for people that is born between the 19th of February and the 20th of March. It's a water sign, unsurprisingly, seeing as the fish is their symbol. But what do I know? Aquarius is not a water sign, like, you know, Aquarius. Anyways, Pisces people are described being like timid, old souls, and like otherworldly. So I wanted to do a So for this one, I really wanted a design that was more monstrous than compared to the other designs I had done thus far. Because I kind of realized I hadn't really done a lot of more monster designs for the series, so I had to fix my mistakes. So I kind of went with a monster mermaid design. I considered giving her some sort of tentacles because a lot of sea monsters in myth and horror in general seems to have that, but I didn't include them because I thought it was gonna be a bit cluttered. But I kind of wished I included some of it. But anyways, it's too late. I've already finished drawing it. I also have this like anglerfish idea around her because anglerfish are usually considered scary looking fish. That scene from Finding Nemo still gives me nightmare to this day, we will say. And I was also slightly inspired by an OC of mine for this design. Here she is. She's great, but I also didn't want to just copy her design because, you know, I didn't want that. I made her not for this video. I made her to actually be a character in a story. I also accidentally made this character Pisces because when I give characters birthday, I don't really look at zodiac signs for it. I just kind of go with vibes. I don't know, like it's just like intuition at this point. It's just like, yeah, this character seems to be born late August, and no much further thought than that. And then I looked at like the calendar and I realized, oh my god, I made her a fucking Pisces. And it looks so like I did that on purpose, but I didn't. I was just thinking she looks like she's born in March, and like... Well, that's fun. Anyways, back to the video. I don't really have a lot to say about this design. I just sort of drew, you know, just monster fish design. That was what I was going for, and I like the end result of it. It's neat. It's probably my favorite out of this bunch of character designs. I just think it's neat. I wish I added a bit more color to her. I don't know, I haven't really mentioned it thus far, but every character thus far I have kind of drawn them in a very monochromatic color palette, kind of taking colors that is associated with each these signs. Certain websites are not agreeing on which colors are associated with which sign, but I kind of just looked at a lot of different ones and kind of made sure that not more than 2 signs have a similar color palette, so they look, you know, distinct and all that jazz. So for this one I went with a very sea green color because I seem to be like what most sites seem to associate Pisces with, so that's what I went with. Also gave her a necklace with the Pisces symbol on it because, as mentioned, this character ended up being very monochromatic, and I thought I need to give her a bit more color, so I thought giving her like this gold necklace would help with that, and I like that touch. And also tried to experiment a bit with the lightning for this one with the angler fish light. I don't know what they're called actually. You know, like the light bulb that anglerfish has, like, is the only light. Sorta. I think it's cool. It gives a cool effect, and the eyes are a bit glowing. It's just very creepy. I really hate the ocean, actually, because it's too big, it's too dark, and a very weird creature lives in it. So yeah. The third sign I am doing for this video is Aries. Technically the first sign of the zodiac, but I changed the order because I wanted to draw my sign first. Shout out to this comment from my last video. Anyways, Aries is a fire sign and the sign for people born between the 21st of March and the 20th of April. People who are Aries are apparently courageous, driven, and competitive. They also a lot of websites seem to say that Aries had like a big ego. I feel like that's like a very common thread with all the fire signs I have looked at, so which I guess makes sense. Anyways, they also considered to be good leaders and are like very active. So many websites said like they were super into sport and shit. So this one was pretty easy to come up with an idea with, seeing as it's a fire sign, have a goat as a symbol, and every website I looked at claimed that red is totally Aries' color. So I had to draw a dream of sorts. Like a goat man. So I gave him these horns. I also tried to make his eyes a bit more like goat-like, with like rectangle pupil. It isn't that obvious unless you zoom in, but whatever, I like it. Like similarly to Capricorn from the last video, I wanted to do like something more demon-like. I imagine that because Capricorn in my last video, I made her like an occultist person, kind of maybe like a cult person. So I kind of imagine that Aries is the leader of said cult, and like he's the reason people come in, and like he's actually part of the cult because of his charismatic and alluring nature. But Capricorn is actually the one like running the show behind the scenes. I think that's fun. I find it very fun to kind of make, when making character designs and making original characters, is to kind of like connect them somehow. Like, what is the relationship between character A and character B and character C and character D and character D and character A? It's just very fun. I think that's one of my favorite aspects of making my own characters, is to imagine what the relationship is. Because I think like a lot of time what makes good characters is like their relationship with other characters. And anyways, for his design, I originally thought about making him a bit more fancy looking, like he has a suit and shit. I kind of dropped that. I kind of wanted him to seem a bit more, kind of like wear clothes that seems like you could like actually move around with, because so many sites mentioned that Aries were very active people and so and all that. I also gave him like a tattoo, because I feel like that would also fit. Fun fact about this drawing, I actually drew a different drawing altogether for this one, and I actually basically finished it. But when I finished it, I looked at it and I was like, I fucking hate this, and just redrew it, which I'm happy with. I would usually not recommend doing that, because you're just wasting your time. But for this one I had to redraw it. I really didn't like the previous drawing I did for this character. It was just, it looked off, everything was wrong. I just, no. I try not to be negative around my art, but I had to mention it, because I drew this drawing twice, which, as I said, would not recommend, but that's what happens. I also try to make him look a bit older, like, because I try not to have all my character designs look like they're just in their mid-20s sort of air. I also want to just practice drawing characters who are kind of older looking, so hope this one looks fine. I like the gray streaks in his hair. I like it. I like his pose. I like his like fire power. I feel like he's about to make like a deal with you that you're gonna really like in the beginning, but then at the end you're like, oh my god, I've ruined my life. And here we are, the last sign of the video. And it's Taurus. It's an earth sign, and it's designed for people born between the 21st of April and the 21st of May. People who are Taurus are described as being reliable, patient, and very responsible people. So seeing as the symbol for Taurus is a bull, the very obvious choice would be drawing a minotaur, but I don't really see that as horror tropey. Like, minotaur is scary, but I don't really associate it with the horror genre. And I also thought it was a very obvious choice and a bit boring, so I dropped that. So I had to like really think outside the box for this one. And it kind of, which was hard because cows and bulls in general doesn't really have a lot of horror tropes around them, because, you know, look at the cow, it's adorable. I kind of feel bad at times eating them, but you know, I don't really have a lot of horror tropes around them. But then I realized I could look other places, and then I got inspired by local folklore. So I guess I had to explain, because if I just say vampire, most of you guys would understand what a vampire is without me going into detail. But for this one, I'm not sure how many people outside of Scandinavia have heard about this one. So I'm drawing Taurus as a huldra. So the huldra is a creature from Scandinavian folklore. As far as I've seen, if you're gonna comment like, oh, they're actually part of our local folklore as well. Cool. Anyways, so it's a creature that looks like a beautiful woman from the front, but her backside, she has a cow tail. And she has either... different interpretations say that either she has like an open back or like a back that looks like tree bark. Just something like very disgusting, I guess. I went with more like an open back interpretation because I think it's more horror like. Hopefully this is not too hardcore for YouTube. Please don't remove my video. Anyways, yeah, so I actually really liked this one because I was really not thinking about the huldra like when I started to like brainstorm ideas for designs. And like anytime I can like talk about Nordic / Scandinavian folklore, it's a win for me because I think it's very fun and there's a lot of interesting creature from the folklore around here that isn't very mainstream. I think like the most mainstream one is like trolls and such. Like the Nuck got like a little shout out in Frozen 2, so we like to see that. But you know, the huldra, if I can make the huldra more mainstream, I have done something in my life. I also gave her this hair piece that looks like horns. It's not actually horns because I couldn't really find anything that huldras have horns. But I gave it like this hair piece that like looks like horns, so it kind of gives a more Taurus vibe instead of me just drawing a huldra, you know. I also had like a little like accessory piece on her tail, which have the Taurus symbol. It's very, very small, but it's there. I just really like this one as well. Because I was really not thinking about it when I first made this video or like started the series at all, and I don't know, I just think it's very cool of a concept. So yeah, this is Taurus with a more Scandinavian horror vibe to it. Well, that is all the signs for this video. I have to say thank you so much for all the views from the last video I posted. I was really not expecting it to blow up this much. Like, I know like overall in all of YouTube it's not a lot, but like for me it's like it's kind of just, I just really appreciate you guys. Thank you for 200 subscribers. Like oh my god, I'm just really happy. Like thank you so much. Hopefully you guys like this video as well. The next part of the Zodiac series should come out relatively soon. I'm a bit busy at the time. The reason I didn't post last week was because I was busy with other stuff, but we'll see when the next part is coming out. Thank you for being here and watching the video to the end. Goodbye, have a good week.